Hey, Treasure fans, your pal Big D back here again with another weekend news announcement. And this is for February 8th and for February 15th, 2022. Those of you new to my channel, I do this every week, or I try to anyways, where I talk about what's new coming out of Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, whatever the likes are, movie-related, TV-related wise. I go over what's coming out, anything announced, and I go over anything else that I kind of want to talk about. It's kind of just my episode every week to talk about movies that are coming and what I like, what I've seen maybe recently, stuff like that. We go from there. I'm sorry I didn't put out one last week. I know I did not last week. I'm still trying to play catch up from things I wasn't able to do last year, so I'm still trying to get caught up on a couple things and get a few things rolling. But that should be subsiding now. I should be back more or less. You should at least see this mug once a week at least. Until I can get things more rolling along here. I'm still having trouble with content. I've developed a couple of videos I have filmed that I've watched the videos over a couple of times. I just don't know if I'm happy with them or not. Maybe I'm being too picky. Maybe I should just throw them out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Because one of the things I want to do is, what I've done with a couple episodes already, is do a deep dive into certain movies. Movies that I've seen. Not necessarily this is going to be a big movie like, ooh, look, I got to see, I don't know, Finch this week, which I just watched recently. It was a really good movie. This would be more like some older movies that I'm like, I was stumbling through the day and I stumbled upon something. Check this out. I really enjoyed it. So, I'm toying with it still, and I'm kind of struggling with it still. I'm also struggling with another thing I filmed is on TV, and I started doing a thing where I talk about my favorite TV shows and why I like them. And it will be some current TV shows, but it'll be a lot of older stuff because a lot of the older stuff is done. So it's a lot easier for me to talk about the whole thing from beginning to end. But that's what I'm working on too, and just a couple of things I'm not happy with either. I'm just being really picky. But anyways, with all that said, let's talk about releases. So today, being Tuesday the 8th, what did come out today was we did have Some Like It Hot come out today in 4K, which should be pretty great movie. Great classic movie. Would like to see that. Shout Factory's released Summer School today. Another great movie from the late 80s, early 90s. I love that movie. It's part of my younger years, of just watching all the time Chainsaw Dave. Just Mark Harmon, just some great stuff in that movie. So that came out today from Shout Factory. The big release today, obviously, being in Disney's Encanto, which I just saw on Friday, and I have to say, I really liked it. I was completely blown away. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. I love the story. I love the characters, the music, and I'm not a big music guy. I don't watch a lot of musicals, stuff like that. The one thing that's always driven me nuts about earlier Disney was I feel like you'd start watching it and it'll bust out into a song, and after a while, it's like a couple songs are okay. But some of those older movies, it was just like it was all songs, and I just lose it for me. This did have a few songs in it, but they were really well placed in the movie, and they were really catchy, nice songs. Obviously, Lin-Manuel did the music for this, and he wrote some, I think some, or if not all, the songs for that movie. And again, it is spot on. I watched Hamilton about 6-7 months ago, and again, it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. And again, I'm not a musical fan. I think the only musical I've ever really truly enjoyed was Fiddler on the Roof, and that's more nostalgic because of my mom. But I've never been a really big musical fan. Now, I did watch, about a year ago, I watched Sound of Music, which I do like Sound of Music because I like the story. Some of the songs, and the songs are really catchy. But, I'm not the biggest musical fan, but I really did like it in Encanto. I would recommend it to anybody. I think it's a great movie for families, great movies for just anybody. It's really well done. I really enjoyed it. But that does come out today on Blu-ray, 4K, DVD. There is a limited edition steelbook from Best Buy, which I got, and I just have to go pick up. And I believe Target's going to have the little film cell, not film cell, but pictures in the box set thing. Let's see here. Paramount Presents is releasing Murder on the Orient Express today. And then Paramount is also releasing Foul Play, both first time on Blu-ray. We also have Resident Evil, Welcome to Raccoon City, coming out today on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and there is a limited edition steelbook that comes with some art cards or something like that. A little expensive on the steelbook. It's a little more expensive than your standard steelbook. I did get it. It actually should have been. I'm not actually, you can see from my background, I'm not at my house right now. It should be. I just got notification it was delivered. So that I'll be checking that out tonight. We did get Catwoman, a new DC animated movie. Catwoman Huntress comes out today. Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and there is a limited edition steelbook to this one, which I just never pre-ordered. Probably won't get that one. I do love the DC stuff. I've got the majority of it. I really do. I think DC animated movies are amazing. I actually like them a lot more than Marvel stuff. So we'll have to see on that one. Also, Stargirl Season 2, which I've not seen yet. I loved Season 1. My understanding is Season 2 is even a step better, so that did come out on Blu-ray and DVD today. And then we do have King Richard came out on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K today. That's the Will Smith movie. And then the last thing we do have is MVD is releasing today Ghost Riders. I think I remember that. I want to say it was like an 80s movie. I know it was a Western. I think there was a horror motif to it, if I recall correctly. Again, it's been 40 years probably, so... but that does release from MVD today, and that is it for today. Next week, we do have a few titles, the biggest title being The Eternals coming out on Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and there is a limited edition steelbook for that one by Best Buy. Looper comes out on 4K next week. Chippendales Rescue Rangers, a complete series on Blu-ray. I'm kind of looking forward to that. I think it's going to be kind of neat. Kino Lorber is releasing Rima Williams, The Adventure Begins. Great movie. I love that movie so much. It's just, I mean, the whole ending scene when he's fighting on the, when he's scaling out through the Statue of Liberty, fighting that guy when they, back in the day when they're doing restoration on it. It's just good stuff. It's good straight stuff. Shout Factory is releasing The Howling 4K. Should be interesting. I do love The Howling. Howling is a great movie. And the disc that they had put out for The Howling, originally Shout Factory done, was a good disc. So I'm curious to see what the upgrade is going to look to that. And then Paramount is releasing a bunch of titles next week. We have Kids in the Hall Brain Candy. We have 200 Cigarettes. Hey Arnold, the movie. Nick of Time. And the one I've talked about before, Euro Trip, which again, I'm still surprised that's coming out. And that's all coming out next week. Yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry. Target does have an exclusive with that Eternals. Going back to this note, my notes here. They do have an exclusive with that one of the art card thing too, inside the box thing. I've never really been big on those. Like when I go into my Target with those art. So Target used to do. Now, those of you who are new to the channel, Target used to do when certain movies would come out, especially DC movies. When you always get a DC steelbook, Target would do these like lenticular, like really cool. It was like a book basically they put out. Had a lenticular cover on it. Have a bunch of it have a bunch of pages at the very end. Would have a 1, 2, however many Blu-rays, DVDs they want to put in there. They were really cool. They dropped that and they went over, and I think that's when they started doing Marvel stuff, because I don't remember, it was only DC they were doing that stuff with. When Marvel started coming out and they started pushing more for Marvel, that's when they kind of switched over to this like art card thing now, where it's a box, you pay the same price you pay for a steelbook, and instead you get like, and they did it with Star Wars too. I remember that, I think it was Rogue One. And you could change the picture in the front so you could have a different picture each time. I'm not a big fan of those. I go into my Target now and I still find several of them from like a year ago still sitting on the shelves there. They just can't seem to quite get rid of them. Just not a big fan of them because it's nothing different. Like with the steelbook, at least you're getting a whole different packaging for the movie. And it's obviously way different. With these things, you're getting the same packaging, just an outer cover that allows cards to be slipped in and out of it. There's nothing really much different. They're literally charging you, in a lot of cases, it's only Blu-ray too. It's not even a 4K. So they're charging you, what in essence is probably another $10 to $12 for some art cards. And to me, it's just, and the box is flimsy, and it's just, I don't know. I'm going on a whole rant here. I'm not really big on it. I tend to like more the steel books or something else. Every once in a while they'll get something in really cool. It's like a box or something like that that'll be really cool, that's not flimsy. I'll go for that stuff. Those things are just really flimsy, and you put them on the shelf, and if you put too many movies in, they get squeezed a little bit, they get damaged. And I know I'm nitpicking here, but I try to keep my movies as pristine as possible because I put money into it. I want it to, I want them to look pristine. So I'm not nitpicky, and if I buy a movie, it's got like a small tear, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But once I own it, and once it's in my house, I try to do the best that I can to take care of it. And those art card ones are really, really hard to take care of because they get, like if you put them on a shelf or something like that over time, again, when you may take a movie out, put a movie in, it kind of squishes and expands the set when you're pulling in and out of movies off shelves, and those get damaged real easily. So steelbooks don't. They held up pretty good. So anyways, that's my soapbox on that. Now, let's talk about what's being announced. So there has been things announced. Vestron Video's next one is Dream a Little Dream. That'll be coming out later this year. That's the Corey Feldman movie. I'm big on the Vestron things right now. Matter of fact, I am now 4 away from completing the entire series. It's getting current, and I'm still releasing new ones. Getting current. I still need, was it Parents? Gothic? Was it Reanimator? And there was one more, and The Unholy. The Unholy was the other one. Those are the ones that I need, and I'm all caught up. So hopefully at one point I'll get those. But there is a new one coming out later this year. Matrix Revolution has been announced for Blu-ray, DVD, 4K, and there is, I believe, a steelbook, and that is coming out. I did not put a date, but I believe it's in March. Again, it sucks that the first Matrix is so good and the next 3 are nowhere near as good as the original. And that's really rough because they continue to put out 3 more of these movies that were subpar to the original. So it feels like, how sometimes those movies like, a movie be out in the theaters, it'd be a major movie, it'd be awesome. Deep Blue Sea, for example. I will take Deep Blue Sea. So Deep Blue Sea, the first one, I love that movie. It is one of my all-time favorite shark movies, right behind Jaws. I love Deep Blue Sea. I saw it in the theaters like 3-4 times. I mean, I love it. It's a great, campy, good shark movie. Good shark effects. I love the movie. The first one's amazing, out in the theaters. The second and third, they couldn't even make it to theaters. They went direct to video. And they're way more subpar than the original. They're kind of fun to watch, but they're nowhere near as good. Special effects, acting, nothing was good. That's kind of how I feel like the Matrix movies are. The last 3 should have been direct to video. They may have done better than going out to the theaters because I think the theaters, they just weren't as good. They just weren't as good, unfortunately. There's parts of each one of those movies, even the fourth movie came out, that I did enjoy. My biggest problem with the fourth one, it was so disjointed. I remember like over halfway into the movie looking at my wife and going, where's this all going? What is this? My brother-in-law was sitting in the same room and he's like, dude, I have no idea what's going on. So it was so disjointed. I don't know. You could really feel there was a large space in between the last movie and then the fourth one. You could really feel this. Sometimes they'll do a remake several years down the road. Ghostbusters, for example. It had been, 20, 30 years since the last Ghostbuster movie with that cast. But when they did the Afterlife movie, I felt like even though you could definitely tell there had been some time, they filled in that gap pretty well during the movie. And it just flowed so well that you just didn't feel like you would in the Matrix movie. So, again, soapbox, sorry. Anyways, there's that with that. We do have Usual Suspects coming out from Kino Lorber in 4K for the first time. That'll be out later this year. This is one I'm really excited about, not for me, but for my wife, because this is one of my wife's top 5 all-time favorite movies. Vinegar Syndrome is actually releasing Drop Dead Fred. So, really surprised about that. Shocked. I just read that today. It's one of my wife's favorite movies. It's a movie I never thought I'd see come out on Blu-ray. It's like Eurotrip that talked about a while ago. There's just certain movies you're like, these will never come out on 4K. They're just those titles that get lost in the shuffle from these studios, So, again, Vinegar Syndrome picked it up. They're going to put it out. It'll be a really nice 2K remaster with a ton of special features. Let's see what else we got here. We do have MVD's releasing 3 more titles. They have the movie Highball coming out the 7th of June. The Fabulous Baker Boys coming out the June 7th as well. And then I cannot read my writing here, but there is another movie. I feel stupid. I wrote this down really quick because I was like, whoa, wrote it down really quick. There's another coming to the 21st. I will get back to you on that one. Also, we do have Sing 2 coming out the 22nd of March, Blu-ray, DVD, 4K. I'm not sure in Steelbook of that one. And the one I'm most excited about, I just read a few minutes ago, and I'm really excited about this because I really love this series. Chucky Season 1. I know they've already greenlit Season 2 of Chucky. This one comes out, it's the April 9th. I love that series. It was so well done. I feel like it's a great continuation of the Chucky franchise. But the fact that they integrated every flippin' movie, even the direct-to-DVD movies, into this TV series, they encompassed everything. It feels like one large overarching story from the first movie all the way to the finale, season finale of the show. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I'm super excited about it coming out. I can't wait for season 2. They used some CGI, but they also used a lot of animatronics. So, which I like about that. It's kind of like the current season of the Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian, where they do use some CG for Grogu, but they also use a puppet for a lot of it. It just feels more real. It just feels more based in reality rather than the CG stuff. That's not I say this all the time. Let's say the CG is not getting good. Because in the last episode of Book of Boba Fett, where we did get to see, please stop this now. If you've not seen episode 6 of Book of Boba Fett, stop it now and just say, hey, goodbye. But if you've seen it, you do know that, Luke Skywalker pops back up and they did some more of the CG work. The CG work at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian wasn't that great, but this time around, seeing him on this planet was really good. So, I mean, it's getting better, but it's still not, you can still tell it's not, it's not real. It's computer generated. So it's wait to see, but they did an amazing job. They did an amazing job with that, so I'm super excited about that. So that is it for Blu-ray, DVD, 4K for this week, next week, and all the stuff that was announced. I did want to tell you that officially tomorrow, February 9th, is the season finale of Book of Boba Fett. Sounds like they're in talks to do a season 2 so far, because season 1, the beginning, I guess a little rocky, but towards the end, if you've watched the show, you know what I'm talking about, has just exploded. It's been really well done. It's really added to the Star Wars universe. Also great news, day before yesterday, I believe it was, or was it over the weekend, Paramount did announce 3 new Star Trek series that they're in development right now. Obviously, one is Section 31, which they've talked about that for since Discovery was announced, was it 4 or 5 years ago. Going along with that one, and so that one's still in development. There's another one called Star Trek Starfleet Academy, which is another one. I'm not sure if this is going to be Starfleet Academy at some point during the Next Generation or the original series. Or my thought process is at this point, it's going to be probably Starfleet Academy. If you've watched Discovery Season 3, when they went 900 years into the future, you would know that Starfleet kind of more or less had fallen apart. It was still there, but nowhere where it was. Earth is not part of the Federation anymore. But there's only 7 planets left part of the Federation. Earth is not one of them. The Vulcan is not one of them. That's just the Navarre now, because the Vulcans and the Romans have come back together. So they reintroduced Starfleet Academy in this current season of Discovery, and gosh, it's Lieutenant Tilly now left Discovery to go teach at Starfleet Academy. So some of the rumors are now that might be a series of involving her and Starfleet Academy coming back from being gone for so long. We'll see. Really excited about that. The one I'm most excited about, though, is a series they've talked about. They'd be almost like Short Treks is right now, where they do like a 10-minute show to kind of catch up on things or show you a new idea. But this one would be feature length episodes based on some of the former characters. Some of the things that they had mentioned was constantly going back and revisiting Captain Jonathan Archer, which would be an admiral at that point. Maybe be an admiral, going back and visiting Hikaru Sulu, maybe during his during his captaincy of the USS Excelsior, or after he had retired or was an admiral. Talking about going back and look at some of these older characters from these series and see where they are now. Some of the big success these new Star Trek series have had is bringing back some of these characters from, look at Picard, bringing back, the Rikers, bringing back Q in this season, bringing back Data. In Discovery, you've seen a lot of several different characters that you'd see later on in the original series. Spock being one of them, Captain Pike. Bringing back some of these what quote legacy characters. Kate Mulgrew as a Captain Janeway on the new Star Trek Prodigy. Just by even just in all the shows, how they're really starting to bring back some of these legacy characters. It's becoming very popular. People are enjoying seeing this. So that's what the third show's premise is around. I'm really excited about that. I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait. But so be on the lookout. Star Wars and Star Trek, both the two biggest sci-fi franchises in the universe, and I will argue anybody about that says that's not the truth. I know there's other sci-fi franchises out there, be Doctor Who, Battlestar Galactica, but they're nowhere near where Star Wars and Star Trek are. Come on now, let's be honest. So that's really good news. DC has a new show coming up called Gotham Knights. It's currently it's just been greenlit for a pilot. Gotham Knights being, the whole premise of this is it's going to be on a different, It'd be a different universe. In this one, Batgirl, Robin, Red Hood, and Nightwing have all been charged with Bruce Wayne's murder. So not only do they have to avoid the authorities, but to sorry about my watch, but to protect Gotham City now the Batman is dead. So that's really exciting to me because I love Teen Titans, but to see it a little bit different, where you can see Batgirl and get to see Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood all work together. I'm really excited about that show. So there's some good stuff on DC. I know that there's a new, I want to say it's run by Diggle, who was on Arrow. A new, was it like DC University or something like that? That's going to be a new show coming out. So lots of great stuff for DC on the horizon as well. Just a lot of good TV show stuff in general. So I know my wife's currently watching the show Reacher and says really well. Maybe want to touch out. I just finished watching a show and I can't remember the complete time. This is Why We Died, or What Story We Died. It's a new South Korean zombie flick. It's like number 1, number 2 on Netflix right now. I just finished the last episode last night. Man, it was a good show. I really liked it. The ending bummed me out a little bit, though. There's a couple things they did in the ending. I was like, ah. Now, if they do a season 2 of the show, okay, I understand why you did that. But it was really well done. Those South Koreans, man, they put out some quality movies. I got to say that because look, you got the Host is out there. They've put out just some really good stuff in probably the last 5 or 6 years that my humble opinion is it rivals Hollywood here. They really put money, time, and effort into their movies, and they're putting out some really good quality stuff that everybody seems to be enjoying, and I really am. I've kind of dived into it. There's a couple of the shows I noticed on Netflix that were South Korean shows that I'm going to get into. One's about, I saw a trailer for it last night about these guys that go to the moon. They crash onto the moon and they got some creature going on. Another one, the one I'm going to start now, is one about these, it's kind of like a zombie, but they're creatures following these people in this town, and they get locked up in this building and they have to escape. And it looks really, it's a TV series and they do some really good stuff. So really excited about that. Keep your eyes open because I think the South Koreans are going to be the ones to rival Hollywood and really give Hollywood a run for its money, which I'm glad, because Hollywood needs a run for its money. It's still too complacent. Some of the stuff that they're putting out now just not where it used to be. It's just not. It's funny. I remember as a kid when you went to the movie, came home, it was like epic. That's all you would think about for days. That movie was so great. Nowadays, they pump out so much stuff. It doesn't feel like it did when I was a kid anymore. Now I'm an adult. I'm older. Things change, but still. You got to admit, when I was a kid, a movie would come out, and that movie would be in theaters for months. And there may be 1 or 2 other movies that roll around, but that'd be it. Nowadays, it's not just the theaters that they have like 10 movies a week. It's streaming services popping up all over too. So there's so much content now, which is great. Love all the content, but it seems like it's a little overwhelming. And a lot of times they don't. A lot of it, I don't know. I can't say it's not quality, because some of it's quality, but it's just too much. It's too much to be able to dive into and really absorb and take in and really think about, Otherwise, that's it. So thank you guys all for watching. Like, subscribe, the bell. Please share this video. I really appreciate that. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being patient with me. That really does mean it should be a lot. I know I'm sporadic lately, and I'm not going to excuses. Just life. You know what I'm saying? Please be on the lookout for more videos this week. I will be doing this will be a test run for me. I've talked about it earlier in the videos. It'll be a test run for me. I will be putting on a favorite TV series episode this week. It will be obviously Star Trek, but I did Star Trek because it was the first video I was doing with this type of series I want to work with, and I wanted to make sure the subject matter was something I was so well immersed in that I could talk about it, not worry too much about doing things. I could fine-tune things. So be on the lookout for that. This week will be the original series. I've actually had a lot of questions over the years. What are my favorite episodes? So it will go into the depth of what my favorite episodes are and why those are my favorite episodes. So, and then after that, I'm not sure what stories I'll do next. Maybe The Walking Dead is another show that I've really enjoyed over the years. Although it's not done yet, we do have a part of the season left. Currently watching Parks and Recs at night, for a couple episodes. Love that show. Makes me laugh every time. Let's see here. I just finished Mandalorian. I could do the Mandalorian. There's a bunch of stuff I'm going to do. So be on the lookout for that. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please take care. Always keep hunting, because you never know what you're going to find. And as always, live long and prosper. Bye.